What's going on, guys? So we're back again with another gameplay video. This time we have Perth Pro Players team member Jimmy here on the left playing Jiren, and we have Perth Pro Players team member Chris here on the right playing Xeno Gogeta. So just before they get started into the gameplay video, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Team Card Titan. So if you guys want any DBS Seal products or DBS singles, make sure you check out that link in the description below. And for all the people in Australia and New Zealand, check out their auction page on Facebook as well. Now, I really like both these decks. They're very, very powerful. The Gogeta Xeno kind of just goes for the thwarting package, which is very, very strong. That package is ridiculous. The fact that you can kind of get it turn one potentially as well, depending on how many of the Gokus and Vegetas you run, is very strong. The fact that most decks can't get rid of it for quite some time is ridiculous, right? So the fact that you can do that is crazy, crazy strong. I'm wondering if Chris will get it this turn. Now, Jiren, very, very good, obviously, being able to play so much onto the board. The big boss monster is absolutely insane. The fact that it is a 35k, technically dual attack because of the effect, and a double strike is very, very good. So we have gone for the leader effect, taken a life. We're going to play this card in rest mode. Unfortunately, only getting the draw one. Usually you want to hit the other Jiren so you can start your searches and then start finding things you wish. I guess you always guarantee hit off this, which isn't terrible, right? Hopefully Jimmy here has the Unison as well and another one drop in hand. So we are going to hit the Unison, which is great. Get that onto the board. Go for our plus so the end of turn we can play a one cost, right? So I'm assuming we have another Jiren, I'm hoping. And then we also have the 4 cost 15k, which we can definitely go into, which I really like as well. That's definitely a good choice. So Jimmy is thinking whether he wants to attack or not. I think with this, you probably don't want to attack because it just means it's quicker for them to awaken. They can awaken turn 2, right? They can awaken very, very quickly. I think you want to force them to find ways to awaken themselves and take their own life to kind of force that down. Now, that was the leader effect, top 5. Unfortunately, I didn't see it all. I believe there was a hell of a lot of Vegetas in there. From what I did see, though, I don't think I saw a Goku. Unfortunately, Chris didn't spread it out for us, so we couldn't really see it, but that's all right. I'm sure we'll definitely see it once he starts trying to go for things. If there is both in there, that'll be great for him because then he can go for one of his Gogetas. But it looks like we got a Unison super combo, double strike Champa, and then 3 Vegetas, no Goku. So kept him off for at least one turn, which is nice for Jimmy here. The fact that he could kind of bring something like that in would be insane. But it looks like we're going to go for one from hand instead and one from warp. Hit this boy. Now, we can ignore barrier with this card, which is gross. And we're just going to hit that Jiren straight away, right? So good that Jimmy didn't decide to go into his 4 cost just there. So ignores barrier. Yeah, ignores barrier. And that's the good part about it. So I think he was just saying it has barrier because of Kunchi. But the fact that that card ignores barrier, costs 1 energy as a blocker, absolutely insane. Now, Jimmy's probably going to hold that other Kunchi in hand. Doesn't look like he's gonna charge it. I'm just wondering if he has something else to play out because I probably would have kept it just to get the draws at the end of turn if I needed it, right? So we are going to plus, go for the leader effect just here. Check the top. Hopefully we find a Jiren, which I believe we do have the correct Jiren that we want to find, which is this one just here. This is always the one that we want to find, right? This is definitely preferred just because we get a search off this and it allows us to dig deeper into our deck. Now, I'm hoping we do get the other 5 drop is probably the ideal card in this matchup, I think. Knowing that Kai can hit the big 8 cost, you just really have to rely on these 5 costs as much as possible, right? So if you can have access to that 5 cost, or as many as possible, definitely worth it. Scary thing is that Chris is very easily able to get rid of these 1 costs just here, right? Which kind of sucks for Jimmy. So we are going to put one underneath. So there's always that potential here that he can go into his 5 cost. So all you can do is play into the 4, get the draw minus plus a marker, and then as soon as Jimmy swings, as Chris swings, what we can do is we can take it up into the 5 cost straight away, right? There's always that potential. Now, the downside of the Gogeta as well, warping that 1-cost Jiren just there means that we can't put it back into the deck, which kind of sucks. And then we can't search for more pieces of our chain, which again, in this matchup, the 5-cost is very important. So if you can have more pieces of that, it's definitely valuable for sure. So we are going to hit the draw 1 minus, and then we also get a marker here on Topo, which is great as well, right? Now we do need to play a little bit more defensive in this matchup, unfortunately, which Jiren's not the greatest at. It is a lot more of the aggressive type rather than the sit back and turtle up and protect type. So it definitely wants to kind of play through its chain and just start swinging as much as possible, which unfortunately you don't really do too much in this. Now, we are going to get the draw, plussing 1k to the leader just here, which is nice. I don't think Jimmy swings in. In all honesty, I don't think he does. I think he has to sit back on this one and force Chris to awaken himself. So Chris, if he wants to awaken, lead a swing, and he needs to find 2 1-costs now. Right now, he only needs to find 1 1-cost and the lead a swing. Right, so that's quite powerful for Chris. Very easy for him to find the 1-costs that take a life. He runs quite a few of them in the deck. So I think what you need to do is Gogeta Xenos, you have to try to control their awaken if you can. You need to sit back, allow them to take their own life, or force them to take their own life to get their awaken, which means that they have to use their energy, and then they're not using it on things like Gogeta, right? So that's where it's going to get a little bit more valuable. So looks like what we're going to do is we're going to swing in with the leader, drawing a card, taking a life. So Chris's hand getting pretty thick right now. Got quite a few cards in hand. So a lot of defense and a lot of aggression means he's finding his pieces as well. So he makes sure he can get things going. So looks like we're going to combo out just there with a Jiren, which I don't think we played a Jiren at the end of turn just then. Off the top of effect, I believe Jimmy missed that, unfortunately, because I definitely would have played that guy out onto the board to go search for the top for another one, right? So we're going to hit... So that's the mill off the top. So we hit 2 Gogeta Xenos and 3 of the trunks. Now, technically, Chris just got to draw 3, which, you know, why not? Why not? All right, it's not too bad. Hope the man wasn't stacking. I don't think he would be. But there we go, guys. We got, unfortunately, losing 2 Gogetas. But the good thing here is, of course, Chris runs the Goku that grabs back them from the warp. We can actually see one in the drop route area right now, right? That card, ridiculous in this deck. The fact that you get rid of the Gogeta Xeno and then just kind of go find it again from that effect, bring it back to your hand, especially because in the drop area, you put it in the warp and then you grab it, is crazy, right? It's so powerful. So looks like we're going to swing here into, I'm thinking maybe one of the little 1-costs, maybe. We're going to go for, it looks like, the Spirit Boost. Going into a 4-cost, minusing by 10, plussing the marker back up, and then drawing a card. And then we're going to combo the Kai. So the reason that Chris has decided to do this, right, is so that he can get that mirror from the warp. But he does need to get, I believe the Kai has to be from the warp, if I remember correctly. So he has taken it up to 10k. So this is where Jimmy can decide whether he wants to combo off or not. So it looks like he is going to combo off to protect, which I think is probably a good choice. We're going to go for the Overrealm here on the trunks. Again, this card's not really used in the fashion like this. Most of the time it is just like the draw cards. But the good thing is it is a body that can be played. Obviously, Chris knows his cards as well, knows what he can do. Quite nice here that he did have the Overrealm, so that he can get that Kai into his warp. And now he's going to go get his mirror, I would assume, from the warp as well. But no, we're going to go for the Gogeta Xeno, it looks like, as well, instead. Hitting another thwarting, so absolutely insane. We're gonna bring the winner out. Looks a bit cooler, right? Looks a bit cooler. I know I believe Chris has 3 winner and 1 non. And he hates seeing that 1 non. So we are going to get the winner out. Again, as I said, he can also go get that mirror too. The fact that he can now just swing into either the leader or he swings into this other Jiren just here and just clears it off the board. But I'm assuming we swing lead and we just hit the 4 cost, right? Because knowing the 5 cost can kind of hang around if he wishes, it's quite nice. So only the top card goes to, warp, and the bottom goes into the drop area with evolve targets like that. So Gogeta Xeno is one of those powerful cards that is absolutely ridiculous. I feel like it's one of those cards that a lot of people complain about. It's so easy to be able to get it out, and the fact that there's so many good Goku and Vegeta Xeno cards now that all have amazing effects in their own right, it just makes this card more and more playable. I feel like if you're going to play black, you're going to be splashing this card in there. It's just so easy to do so. I think a lot of people, the complaining is definitely warranted, I feel like, with this card, and I can understand why. Eventually, I'm assuming for the health of the game, I feel like this card will probably either be limited or it will get to a point where it is banned, right? Much like they have done recently with hitting a lot of different cards on the ban and limit list. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. It may take some time, right, before they actually touch it, because it is technically a pretty new card as well. But if it is going to hurt the health of the game, I definitely think it's something that you do limit, or you do just completely get rid of it, right? So then you can't use it at all, right? Because it is quite a big package. I think if you limited it, people probably wouldn't play the package as often or want to play the package. It would make it a little bit less effective. So Jimmy is going to combo out just there, but we're going to go for the Kai, placing at the bottom of the deck, going to grab ourselves a mirror. Plussing just here. So we're going to place one in the warp. We're going to draw a card. I'm assuming we just hit that Kai straight away. Draw a card. That Kai's place wants to be in the warp, right? The other good thing about this mirror as well, which I really, really like, is the fact that what Chris can do is he can actually place his Gogeta pieces in there. So he can just place either one of the Vegetas or the Gokus. Now, Chris added that card back to hand because it would have gone to the warp at the end of turn. So it adds back to the hand, which is quite nice, right? Which is pretty cool on that card. So it means that he still gets it in hand. The fact that he got the overarm swing and then adds it to hand as well, it's kind of perfect, right? So passing back over to Jimmy here. Unfortunately, having to awaken during Chris's turn, which is never a good sign in this deck. You usually want to be able to keep that energy up, play something out, awaken, and then get things going from there. So we are going to go for the plus on Topo here. I believe that's at 6 markers now. I don't think Chris has swung into it. Hell of a board, though, unfortunately, for Chris. Now, the scary thing is, right, is that Chris has got 1 energy up, decent amount of cards in warp, which instantly says to me we have access to a Kai negate, right? So Supreme Kai really screws this deck over because most of the time you just want to go into the big drop Jiren, right? Jiren, so as soon as you go into it, Kai is just going to do the negate and just get rid of it straight away, which is rather scary, I feel like. So Jimmy's kind of almost forced to go into it because we have to clear this Gogeta Xeno off the board, right, in a way. It kind of sucks. I would probably say get another swing out of this 5 cost, though, even if you are being forced into it. Get another swing out of this 5 cost at least, right? And then you go for your evolve, get your plus on the leader as well. And then you can take a card from underneath to get the restand and then swing into the Kai. If you really, really need to get cards off the board, or you need that minus or something like that, knowing that it's probably going to disappear, I think that's probably the best result you could do. So looks like what we're going to do is go the effect of the 1 cost. Now, Jimmy's going to grab himself another 4 cost just there. Now, I didn't see if that card was in drop area, sorry. So that card does have to be, I believe it is from drop area to the bottom of the deck, not from hand, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it is from drop. Didn't really see that, sorry guys. I'm pretty sure it was in the drop. I'm going to give Jimmy the benefit of the doubt here that it would be in drop area. So I'm assuming he's got, by going to grab another 4, he probably wants to go into another 5 cost, if he can, which is definitely a good choice. Only scary thing is, obviously, as I've said, is that this Gogeta being on the board is rather scary, just hanging around. And he doesn't want to just... It's very hard. It is a very hard choice because you don't want to leave it hanging around, because the longer it hangs around, the scarier it gets, right, for you. Just because it is so easy to warp things. But at the same time, you don't want to play into what Chris is going to do, right? You don't want to just give him the chance to use the kind of gate and just get rid of your board, okay? So it is kind of that, like, catch-22 in this instant. As I said, I think trying to get the max out of all these cards is very important. So we're going to do, it looks like, the minus here on the Gogeta. And keeping that pressure, potentially this is the one way we can get around it, right? So if he decides to do the kind of gate, which, as I said, potentially will, at least we can keep the 5-drop on the board. So as long as we have another 5-drop, I think the best thing is to go into that 5 cost now and start trying to force this damage through on the Gogeta Xeno. So maybe we don't have another 5 cost. That's very unfortunate. Swinging a 15 into a 15, but Chris definitely doesn't want to use his kind of gate on an attack like this at all. I can completely understand that. He wants to wait for the big boy, and I think Jimmy's got to take advantage of that while he can, right? Knowing that he's not doing that right now. So we're going to go for the super combo. Bottom decking a card. We're going to let it die. So that to me says Chris has probably got another one in hand. So that's kind of scary as well, right? Which is a common thing, of course. Or he potentially has the Goku that's just going to grab it back. And then he can play it from there, from the warp. Grab it from the warp and then play them again. So the fact that, as I said, this card is so easily recurred with the cards that it already has in its engine is absolutely insane. And this is why I think more than likely something's going to happen to this card eventually, because it's too powerful, I think. So swinging in, we're going to just combo out. Chris counting his drop area. Obviously, something's coming down this next turn from the warp to for the overrealm. He just wants to have the exact number that he needs in there, so he's not overcommitting or anything like that. He's protecting his Gogeta as well, which I like. We still have a 5 cost on board. As I said, we don't want to go into the big boy just now. I think we sit on these guys, right? And what we're going to do is probably hit the 5 cost during our opponent's turn, plusing the 1k to our leader, which is quite nice. And that's what we want more than anything, is to have that 1k because it's extra combo for us. Now, unfortunately, I think Jimmy probably should have just gone straight into the unison here rather than into this, because now what's going to happen is Chris has a chance to combo out and fill up his drop area more, getting access to more than likely one of the Gokus that he can grab that Gogeta Xeno back with, right? So forcing him to do it, I guess, during your turn is probably, or during his turn is probably a little bit better. He'd want to spread him out, otherwise he'll just commit to one attack too hard. So let's see what Jimmy decides to go for. I'm assuming we just pass turn. Hopefully have a 1-drop to play out that we get some value out of. Yep. Once again, I don't think we have a 1-drop, which kind of sucks. It doesn't look like we're going to play a 1-drop out onto the board. That's where Topo really gets his value, I guess, is that throughout the game, being able to just keep playing these 1 costs out, getting draws, getting searches, things like that, adds up the value there. And that's why the unison's so great. So just realize we didn't play a 1 cost out, so he is going to hit the 1 cost Jiren. Gives him another evolve target, which is good too, right? So Chris here, turn 3. Chris's favorite turn, I think, in Dragon Ball. This is usually where he closes out games a lot of the time, I feel. This is most of the time where Chris shines, right? Turn 3 closes out the game quite strong. This deck, very easy to close out the game on turn 3 as well. So he's doing the Spirit Boost, gets the minus, plays out a 1-hit wonder. We get the marker back there, and then we get to draw a card, obviously, off the Jiren. So quite a lot of effects happening at the same time. Now, I'm really hoping we have another 5 cost in hand. I really would like to hit another 5 cost so that we can just give our leader the 1k. And then it means these 4 costs are a little bit more protected as well, right? That's what I think is definitely the most valuable thing, is just protecting these protecting these 4 costs with 5 costs in this deck is very important. It means you can just take the 2 cards from underneath, or you even just take the 1 life if you really need to. We'll see. So there we go. As I thought, Chris has access to the card. He can go get his Gogeta Xeno, which is absolutely insane, right? So this is the thing that I was talking about, is it's just so easy to recur this card. Even if you do deal with it, he has so many ways of getting it back. And it's so easy to do that you can just go straight into another Gogeta Xeno, play it on the board, 1 energy. He also is going to get his Awaken just here, which is awesome too. Swing in for a 25k double strike as well. Absolutely insane. And then also clearing a card from the board, which I'm assuming we hit one of these 1-drops just here, right? So it looks like we are going to go for the Spirit Boost though on the swing. He could, so this is an option, right? Jimmy could decide to pay his 2 energy and then potentially kill something, but very easy for Chris to just choose that card and warp it. So he would have to play out. I believe the boy would play out first. If I remember, because it's on the attack, right? On the attack, the effects impending. You finalize your Spirit Boost, I believe, because it is on the attack, and then the effect would trigger. So I believe he would be on the board. Maybe I'm wrong just there. Maybe that was the way it was correct. But either way, we have cleared that off the board, which is very important. As I said, though, scary thing is Chris has a kind of gate in hand, and I can see it. So easy for that card to just go, right? Without having a 5 cost. 5 costs are kind of the MVP in this matchup, I think. So if you have the 5 costs, try to play into them as much as possible. You do have to defend a lot, unfortunately. You haven't got much safety with this deck, so you do have to definitely commit. So we are going to take it, defend ourselves, staying in that 3 life, which I definitely think is the right call. But the scary thing is we are facing down another 30k and potentially facing another Gogeta Xeno, which is exactly what we have. We have another Gogeta Xeno in hand just there, which we got off one of our draws, I'm pretty sure. So we hit either the leader draw or we hit the Awaken draw just there, or even the life that we took to go for our Awaken. So we got one of those bad boys just there. Now, I'm assuming Chris will go for the Gogeta Xeno just here, paying his 1 energy. Once again, he does have a Goku and a Vegeta in his warp area. Easy. Regardless of if Jimmy takes his damage or not, he's going to swing it, because we just swing into either one of the 5 costs or the 4 costs, and we just get rid of that big Jiren straight away. Just clear it off the board as soon as possible, right? So it looks like we're going to combo it out. Yep, so we're going to combo out of that one, 31. And then we grab 2, put them in the drop area from the warp, play out another one. Another one. DJ Khaled with the bangers. Hitting back again. We get another Gogeta Xeno, right? Absolutely insane. This card is ridiculous. Now, as I said, even though Jimmy hasn't taken the damage, what I think probably happens here is because we got so little cards in hand, we just do the 2 into leader, warp away the big Jiren, and then we can potentially win off the back of that mirror swing, being able to do the -2 effect. So we are going to take a life. Cool. We just warp that blocker straight away. I think I saw a double strike. I believe I saw a double strike in hand just there. So now we just win off the back of the mirror, plus it up, just there, very easy. On the swing, we do the -2. We get, I believe it's 5k for every card in the warp. So a lot just there already. And then we also get to put some combo behind it if we wish, right? So we've also got double strike in hand just here. And as you can see, Chris just kind of throwing it down. So there's your double strike, right? So there we go, guys. So Chris took that one. showing how ridiculous Gogeta Xeno is. It's very, very powerful. Gogeta Xeno, the card is absolutely ridiculous. So easy to recur. Very, very strong deck, right? Unfortunately, Jiren just can't really keep up with it. It really needs to keep its chain on the board, and having everything warped all the time really screws it over. And having to play the defensive role as well. Jiren doesn't like doing that. It's not a defensive deck. It's an aggressive deck that plays up a chain, right? So hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please remember to subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.